Good morning. After the amazing experience of the Halong Loop and a day of working, we are now at the airport of Hanoi. We are now waiting on our airplane, which was 1 hour delayed, to fly to Huế, which is a bit more to the south of Hanoi, like the center of Vietnam. And from there we're going to travel more to the south of Vietnam. We booked yesterday and we didn't really look at the weather, and this morning we were like, what's the weather actually like there? And the predictions are rain again, so I think we are chasing the rain on this episode. Now in Huế, having some lunch, and thereafter we're going to the Imperial Citadel to see how that is different than we just said too, and then we all get food. I have no idea what we are getting. Anyways, we're gonna compare the two Imperial Citadels we've seen in Hanoi and this one. That looks delicious. The water is. We think it's because of the typhoon that hit Huế as well. You also see a lot of trees that are still falling over that they are repairing now, so it's still a bit struck by the typhoon. Citadel has been a central place of the fightings during the French colonization, so that's why there are a lot of ruins inside, so we're gonna see that. Huế has a huge citadel. It is actually a citadel within a citadel within a citadel because it kept expanding. It was the former imperial capital during the Nguyen dynasty. It suffered heavy damage during the Indochina wars through the 1980s. And there's nothing on it. So that's 60 dollars for 1 day. And how about the gear? Do you include a full face helmet?
Yeah, so we have
you need a full face. That's unfortunate.
So now you need to deposit 200,000 on the bank. We can keep the bike for you.
Okay. So we just reserved 2 motorbikes for Thursday to make sure we can do the high van pass, so as they call it. So that is another day of motorcycle driving, which we're looking forward to. These bikes we just reserved are a little bit bigger than we had before, which means a little bit more power, which probably means a little bit more fun. So the only minor part is that they didn't have full face helmets. So maybe if there is a bike coming and they have full face helmets, they will keep them for us. But that's a bit a bummer. We are a bit bored with Vietnamese food, so we're going to try some Italian food. Pastas, pizzas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to try to get some breakfast, which was recommended by the Airbnb, but it's a little bit hard to find. It should be in a small alley, so let's see if I can find it. So I think it's this alley, but a little hard to find. Let's try. Not sure if this is the right alley. I think I found it. So I found that. I've done some lunch, so that's good. So we go back there, and now we're going on a tour.
Yeah, E and E1, but the land from the South America.
The next day we went to the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone. We booked a tour guide via Stop and Go, $60 for a private tour because group tours were not available at the time. First we go to the bridge that divided the north and the south of Vietnam during the Vietnam War. Okay.
You know, some people die on the road highway.
Yeah.
And here the one place for the historic in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the first phase of the revolution, with the National Liberation Front's insurgents greatly outnumbered by Saigon's army, the task for guerrilla units would be to survive in the face of government attack.
What we can visit today,
Yeah.
the gray area in the middle, that is a former DMZ, Demilitarized Zone. And in the middle, that is a Binh Hai River, the old border between North, South and Vietnam.
Okay.
The ocean, the Laos border, and it is Highway 1.
Yeah.
Tiếng Nghe Thơ đấy hả? Because from here, that is a hills. Later you can see from this hill, they could get nice view to the former hill. And during the war, there were very funny competition on both sides of the river.
Yeah.
So step crossing that line, you'll be back north. Just a step, but 21 years to cross, and that's a big loss.
Yeah.
That's people's life. Okay.
How old were you?
They were born during the war.
You were-
68.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
Still offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my family moved down to Huế and I grew up there with all the story from both sides.
Yeah.
Because we of course have a lot of parents and grandparents from our Second World War.
Yeah.
But for you, it's not that long ago.
Yeah.
And for your parents at all.
It's still there.
Yeah.
People who have to live through the war, the ancient have lived through the war with their story, they're still there.
Yeah.
And the story is still very emotional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
And doing this job, I met not only them, my relative or my friends, but also the veterans from both sides. American soldier who have been here, the North soldier, the South soldier,
Yeah.
especially many VC come from Southern Vietnam.
Yeah.
How are they experiencing it? I mean,
Very emotional.
yeah, but are they like you're telling, of course, the story how you've learned it, but are they telling like, no, that's not happening like that, or?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because at the beginning now it's okay because with the internet, hard to hide the truth.
Yeah.
But when I start to do this job, that's the story from the government.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
treated. And then when I meet people, they tell me the story. Oh, this.
This
Because many of them they didn't have the whole story, but just pieces and pieces, and make me understanding what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then you can build a whole story for it.
Yeah.
Nice.
But now recently they open up all the story,
Yeah.
both sides, both country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that seemed like what I tried to make before.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's
Interesting.
nice.
It's really interesting.
Hearing the story of the tour guide and seeing all the information in the small museum gave me goosebumps. The next stop is the tunnels that the Viet Cong digged to live in and shelter for the incoming B-52 bombs.
If someone bang on there, it was a way to make warning.
Ah.
And when people hear warning, I mean, tunnel time.
Yeah.
Tunnel time.
So they use the tunnel as their home, their house. They stay there at night, and during the day they come up, farming, walking. I moved from 8 to 12 meters deep. The red color that is longest one, 15 meters deep, is where 350 people live for quite a long time. And the deepest one, the orange one, the third level, 23 meters deep, but it's very wet in rainy season. on Cafe Station.
Yeah.
Good luck to me.
Kijk,
I
dat-
know.
We're now at second level, so people that live here mostly, and you can see many family home like this. That is a side of a family of 2 people.
Yeah.
So depend how big a family they will have. This side the family homes are longer,
Yeah.
but never wider, never higher. Because if they make them wider, higher, easy to grab under heavy farming. Then,
Bigger family.
this family have 2 children, so they make a small corner.
Oh yeah.
When the children grow up, they make this hole a bit longer, enough to put another bamboo bed. There, you see some local name? Who did what, where, when, organizing of the tunnel, not the village. We go down.
Yeah,
The deepest level was not used for living, but as a fish storage. And you see the pipe collect on the rainy water from first or second level and move down to the third level and out to the sea.
Yeah.
Before they didn't have plastic pipe like this, but they used the bamboo, big bamboo.
Crawling through these tunnels was very impressive. In a way, it is nice to see that the Viet Cong were outsmarting the Americans by just using their land. Many families have survived by these tunnels, but it's still very sad to hear that people had to live in these tunnels for days, without daylight to stay alive. I know the footage is a bit dark, but I think that reflects exactly how it was back then. In a later episode we will visit the Kuchi tunnels that are even smaller, so stay tuned for that. Unfortunately we booked a half-day tour, which doesn't include Rock Pile Base. After seeing this we want to see more, so I would recommend going for a full day tour.
So you see the drain cement that you saw above during the wood that look like that.
Yeah.
So as I told you, about 2,000 kilometers of trenches like this, linking 140 different tunnels.
Oh yeah.
So as long as the highway 1 from Hanoi to Saigon.